Assalamu alaikum everyone. How are you all? Okay, today we are going to do the causes for the revolt. Okay, let's start. The causes of the revolt. There are many causes of the revolt: political, social, religious, economic, military, and immediate causes. Today we are going to discuss the political causes, and under the political causes comes in British policies of annexation, disrespect shown to the Mughal emperor, annexation of all, treatment towards Nana Sahib, unpopular administration, and rule of Roma. That how these different things created a chaos and became one of the reason for the War of Independence of 1857. Now, if you see the policy of annexation, I have discussed doctrine of lapse with you 1852. So this doctrine of lapse and the subsidiary alliances that were introduced it by Dalhousie, doctrine of lapse, it was basic one of the reason for the revolt. How? One of the main reasons that they took out the policy that they are going to take over. They will take over the land of person who does not have a natural heir. Now this is something, a rule taken out just to grab our land. Now doctrine of lapse introduced by Lord Dalhousie, according to the doctrine, kingdom of native rulers without a biological heir to the throne to be annexed by the British. Subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley. According to these policies, remember that they were forced that they should be make alliances with them, and in return they will give us protection, and they will decide onto everything that we can be friends with someone or we cannot be friends with someone. Everything they took in their hands. We became like puppets. We had no power left in our hands. We didn't know how gradually they were taking away everything from us, was creating hatred in our hearts. According to this policy, the policy of subsidiary alliances, the native rulers were forced to keep a large British force in their territories to save them from external invasion. Now, within my territory, the British soldiers were there. Obviously, when they were there, it was not that they did not have any power. They had a lot of power. In name only, I was just, ruling. But the main power was in their hand. The British force had to be maintained at the expense of the native ruler. A British official called resident was placed at the court of the ruler, and he would report about the ruler to the East India Company. Like anything you do, any step you take, it was informed. They kept on informing to the East India Company. So nothing was hidden from them. They knew everything, which was a cause of frustration for us. I mean, someone is continuously keeping an eye, so it became a cause of frustration. Let's move ahead. Now, the doctrine of lapse. Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi fought with the British for the annexation of Jhansi because her adopted son was not accepted as the heir to the throne after the death of her husband. I mean, she was a widow. She had a son, an adopted one, but the government did not let her have Jhansi because the son was adopted. Obviously, frustration and hatred started building up in the heart. Then disrespect shown to the Mughal emperor. The last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah II, was forced to leave his residence at the Red Fort. Sorry, beta, there's a spelling error over here. Just a second. Yeah, sorry, this thing. E. Okay, forced to leave his residence at the Red Fort and deported to Rangoon, Burma, where he died. Now, something that belonged to him taken away from him and asked to leave, and then he died. This greatly hurt the sentiments of the people and they showed their anger through the revolt. They were continuously, suppressing the anger. Now, doctrine of lapse, this was happening, subsidiary alliances was there, and then they showed disrespect to the Mughal. Then annexation of Oudh. Wajid Ali Shah, the Nawab of Oudh, was deposed on the pretext of misgovernment as per the report of the British residents. Now they were giving report according to them he was not capable to rule. So his land was taken away. He was asked to leave, give up his position. It was annexed on the excuse that it was not being governed by the ruler in an effective manner, according to them. So now they were trying every possible way, that in every way they do certain things that they can take away our rule, our land from us. This further created great resentment amongst the hearts in the resentment in the hearts of the people. The soldiers in the British army, as most of the soldiers came from Oudh. Now these soldiers were from this area, and now their land, their things were taken away from them. This is so unfair. What report? Who is coming? Who is checking out? No, they were just finding ways. Whatever report the resident would send, they would agree because they were their people. The soldiers from Oudh showed their anger towards the British through the revolt of 1857 as they loved their ruler Nawab Wajid Ali Shah. Now they can ask you a former who was Nawab Wajid Ali Shah also. Let me write. Sorry. Uh, let's take darker color. Who was? No, I think red is the best color you can use, or black. Stick black. Who was Nawab Wajid Ali Shah? A former treatment towards Nana Sahib. Now, discussed earlier, Nana Sahib was the adopted son of Baji Rao of Kanpur. Now, here, when his father Baji Rao died, they did not, according, everything was supposed to belong to him, but according to doctrine of lapse, he could not be the next ruler because he was not the real son. The British thought it was waste of money. The pension that was found 80,000 pounds. Was not given a huge amount. Obviously, a lot of money went from his hand, his throne, I mean, kingship, everything went from his hand. When the pension was stopped, Nana Sahib became angry and started forming alliances with the different disgruntled native rulers to fight against the British in the revolt. So the preparation actually started. On step by step, they were just, the hatred was building up and they started preparing. Nana Sahib, and this is Nana. Unpopular administration of the British. This played another role. This played another role in creating the hatred in the hearts of the people. They drained away the wealth of India. Everything. This they were taking away. Had no knowledge of Indian customs and tradition. They thought that our customs and our traditions were inferior. They would make us feel so inferior. They excluded Indians from high posts reserved for the British. All the posts were given to the Britishers and the Indians were given lower posts. Indians were very uncomfortable with British laws. Now, our area, there should be our laws, but no, everything that they wanted was going on. Whatever we wanted, who cares? Okay. Role of rumor. Now it was rumored. The Indians actually believed that the Britishers will stay not for long. Okay, if we say for 100 years, 100 years after Battle of Plassey, that is 1757 Battle of Plassey was fought. So they thought that they will leave, but they did not. This the year in which the Battle of Plassey was fought and the British rule started in India in actual sense. When they were, taking away, when the strategies and the methods were taking away everything from us. You all know that why we lost Plassey, why we lost Buxom. Now let's discuss the economic cause of the revolt. Today we are going to discuss two main reasons for the revolt: exploitation of India, ruins of handicraft industries, imposition of the heavy taxation, right? India reduced to an agrarian colony, inhuman treatment, famine, people lost jobs, local industry was damaged, domination of trade by the English was there. Now you say this, that if you call the new agrarian policy of the British, the new agrarian policy of the British, destruction of local industry, permanent settlement, large-scale unemployment, monopoly of trade by the English, and the Stamp Act. And the Stamp Act was some important economic causes of the war. New agrarian policy, if we discuss, the new agrarian policy of the government shook the foundation of the village communities. The zamindars were asked to provide documentary proof of their holding. Now, the zamindars, they had their land for so long. Nobody thought that it's going to be taken away from them. They had no written document. So that when the government came and asked them that show us the written document, they had nothing. So the government said it belongs to us. The zamindars were asked to provide documentary proofs of their holding. Otherwise, they were deprived of their lands. The rate of taxes on the land was increased, burdening the zamindars and the cultivators. These steps alienated the majority of the working class from the government. This class was in the front rank when the War of Independence of 1857 started. Now, destruction of local industry. Due to the Industrial Revolution of England, cheaper and superior goods flowed into the markets of the subcontinent. The local industry could not compete with the imported stuff and suffered badly. Millions of people were left jobless. This resulted in frustration among the lower classes. As a result, they were not appointed on important jobs and high posts. This policy resulted in unemployment for the educated class. The policy of annexation to the British Empire also left thousands of people jobless. Domination of trade. The British facilitated the trade in Indo-Pakistan. Many seaports were declared free port and custom duty free, declared free ports and custom duties on imported goods was withdrawn. These steps ruined the local industries. Imported goods flooded in markets that were cheaper and superior in quality. Consequently, the local working class became depressed. Court fee stamp. The English government declared court fee compulsory to be paid in the form of court stamp. Thus, the people were denied the right of free justice. The general public greatly resented this action. Actually, in those days, there was a thing called panchayat type thing. They would sit, the elders would come and find a solution to the problem. Now they said that if any such problem comes in, you have to have a stamp. You need to hire a lawyer. So in everything now money was involved, and this was creating a lot of problem. in something where we can easily get justice without any payment, without giving money. Now we had to pay money for it. Now let's read from here. Exploitation of India. The British drained away all the resources from Indian territories for the development of their industries in England. They took away everything from us. They were taking everything from us and taking it to their own country, bringing expensive stuff from there and selling, taking stuff from here at cheaper rate and selling there. In the beginning, they did not have any duty, export duty, but then they started charging. Once we got used to it, they started charging. Ruin of handicraft industries. Indian textile was popular in England. This created insecurity among the British textile manufacturer. Hence, the British government prohibited the use of Indian textile in India. They were bringing theirs in our country, but ours was not going there. Why? Because they thought that it is going to affect their industry. In both ways, they were thinking about themselves and they were not bothered about the people of the subcontinent. Heavy import duties were imposed on Indian textile, but a nominal import duty was imposed on British goods entering India. As I said, that when we are going, we have to pay taxes, heavy. But when they are coming in, when their things are coming in, we don't have to pay so heavy taxes. Then again, it was unfair and was creating ill feeling in the hearts. Indian rulers were great patrons of the textile industry. When these rulers no longer had the administration in their hands, the textile industry lost the patronage. Our local industry suffered a lot. Heavy taxes were there, which again created a problem for the peasants. No measures, no help was given to the poor. Right? There were floods, there were famine, but no help was given. Peasants were left with nothing and were forced to borrow more and more money from the money lenders, and these money lenders were Britishers. Okay, British appointed and okay, now they up. Okay, the British appointed an Am Commission to confiscate the properties of landlords who did not have documents to prove that they had received their lands. Confiscated the property of lands who did landlords who did not have documents. Their same agrarian policy that I told you, that they found ways that if they do not have any proof that this land belonged to them, so they will take away the property from the zamindar. Usually the zamindars, had this. And years they have been ruling, people had so many things with them, but they did not have a proper document. So nothing was in black and white. They were taking advantage of that. Raw material were forced to be grown in Indian territories to be sent to the British industries. Self-explanatory. Okay, now here. Cultivation of indigo. Now they were not letting us grow anything. And because we were forced to grow indigo so much, the fertility of the soil became bad. And then you know then we food shortage was there. We were not able to grow any other crop. The soil became bad and we became more dependent on them. So once again the frustration was there. My land, but I cannot grow anything that I want to. I will grow whatever the British government will say. In this British Raj, we had to suffer a lot. Our freedom was taken away. It seemed that as if everything was good, but nothing was so good. Our freedom was taken away from us. British Raj. Okay. Earlier, the peasants in these parts of Bihar and Bengal used to grow food crops that helped them survive. Now they were left with nothing to eat from their own farms. That was like being selfish. Now, annexation of kingdoms led to many soldier or craftsmen being left with no, uh, they were left unemployed. They had no jobs. Introduction of Western education also led to unemployment because we were not well versed in English, so we were not able to teach. Then Sanskrit and the Maulvis usually used to teach us in Persian, but now their language was coming in, so many teachers were kicked out. Their teachers were coming in. No policy of relief measures by the British government during famines. Food grains were sold at high rates. Peasants were forced to dispose of their land and cattle. See, another way of taking away things. Another way, due to inability to continue farming. Another way of taking away our land. That if you're not going to help and you leave us with no choice, but in the end you say that you give us this land, in return we are going to give you this. So definitely hatred will develop in the hearts. So today we discuss the political and the political and the economic cause. Inshallah, in the next class, I'm going to discuss the religious and social causes. Till then, take care. See you all. Allah Hafiz.